Hello, it is October 13, 2025. And if you follow my channel or have for any time, you notice that I read a lot. And I've been on a quest for knowledge since I left employment. I've been retired and wanted to make sure that I had a better understanding of the world. And of course, I am a believer and I have read the Bible many times back and forth. And for your reference, also, I've read the Quran. I've read basically every world religion ancient document that I could find. And after doing so, I also have read most of this. And I'll tell you how it's organized and what I didn't read out of this because it is a very large book. It's approaching 600 pages. And it is an index, as it says, it's 604 pages. And it is an A to Z index, but a lot of it may not be necessary for a person to go through because it is a lot of it about certain people and their writings and theories on the world, not so much directly regarding the summation of any world religions, but pieces, perhaps small, you know, fragments of beliefs. It also deals with a lot of atheists and atheist arguments against Christianity, and it is from the Christian viewpoint. So you're going to get exposed to other world religions, and it's going to show you how they differ and why they differ, and in the belief of the author and myself, why the Christian belief system is the number one or ultimate world belief system. Now, you can, if you don't believe as I do, you might get offended with that statement. But unless you've dug into it, into the detail that I have, you really don't know. And ultimately, it is your own responsibility to find out what you fully believe and why. And that also is a Christian's job. So I will discuss what I believe is the several steps or types of Christians that exist. I have a friend who had recommended that I read C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity after I read all the Narnia books, and I'm going to read that next. I've already read the intro, and it's very impactful already. Um, but one of the things he states is that you're supposed to keep it simple. You're not supposed to get too much in the weeds on superfluous things that don't matter that much, but a lot of people do, and you still need to be able to discuss those things in depth if you're going to be a defender of the faith. So, again, since there are multiple levels of what people claim to be as Christians, I'm going to go through my opinion first of what Christians claim to be. So, there's the Americanized Christian, and it would be very similar to what C.S. Lewis in this intro described Great Britain during the time of the Blitz, or just after the time of the Blitz in World War II, where he said that they were a postmodern Christian society, and that he discovered that even though that's how they identify themselves, they didn't really know what that meant or what the basis of the belief in that was. And I feel like that's what most Americans, they will say that they are a Christian, and that will be the extent of it. They won't or don't or haven't regularly gone to any church, but they want to feel like they have what's called fire insurance, where if you state that you're a believer, you must be protected. And you saw that lately with a lot of people that have passed away. I'm not going to put some names because then I'll be, um, you know, appearing to be judgmental. But there were discussions about recent people that have passed where, well, they're well known and popular, therefore they must be able to go to heaven, even if their life or their belief system did not align with anything that seemed godly. Um, that's what fire insurance a lot of people think is. They think as long as I say I'm a Christian, I'm a saved person. And ultimately, all that is between God and the person. But according to the Bible, you'll find out, and according to C.S. Lewis also, there is a bigger responsibility if you are a Christian than just saying you're a Christian. So the second level, I would say, is a person that goes to church, and their Sunday fellowship is what props up their fire insurance. As long as they say they're a Christian, they go to church on Sunday, then they can do whatever they want, and they're saved. And I'm not going to say whether that's effective or ineffective. The third level of a Christian, in my opinion, is a person that's perhaps read the entirety of the Bible at least once, and they have a basic understanding of their belief system. Then the next level, it seems to me, is a person that is an avid reader of the Bible. They go through it regularly. They do Bible studies, things of that sort, and they really have a pretty good understanding of what it is, but they may not understand some of the counter arguments or how to defend the faith against those counter arguments. And this book is very effective for having this index just in case, especially if you don't know the answer in your mind to some of the questions that might come up. You can open this reference book and flip to it and figure out, yeah, why do I believe that? Or what is the reason for the multiple reasons I believe that? Because you ultimately shouldn't just believe it because that's what you've been taught and that's good enough. You need to question yourself and say, here are the other viewpoints. Why is this infallible? And you have to prove it to yourself so that you have that deep belief. And then the next level the Christian is, it seems to me, is the person that gets to almost that level where they're digging into other documents and they're getting a bigger picture understanding of their belief system, and they can defend it because they've been avidly searching out all of these other pieces of information. And that would particularly probably be people like pastors and stuff. But the problem herein lies is that not only pastors are supposed to be the ones that are actively speaking to others about Christ and their beliefs, right? All of us are. And you have to be willing to speak out and do something actively. So I had a recent, a year ago and a couple months, I almost died in the hospital. And when I came out of that anesthesia, Jesus spoke to me, and I don't care what anyone says. You could look up my past video about this. He spoke to me directly. And it was nothing that I would have pondered on my own. He spoke to me, and I immediately knew after that point that I need to be speaking actively to people because the world is screwed up. There's a lot of things going wrong. People have been devalued. People hate each other en masse. It's just like the beginning of World War II and World War I, where the world is so torn up and divided. We've gotten away from loving each other and understanding that our fellow men are important to us because we're all part of one body called humankind. So the other part of that I realize is that I'm on borrowed time, and my mission from time to time is to tell people why they should believe in Christ. So for the person that is not a Christian, this book can teach you a lot of things about why you should pick Christianity or believe Christianity more than other world religions. And this thing is so thorough at showing you why. And I won't go into too much depth because it's your mission to read these things. But I will tell you that people that have claimed to be prophets, there's not a lot of corroboration in their stories. and none of them compare to the corroboration that happened with Christ. It's just clear as day if you go through this. Now, when you go through this, there's going to be some very deep topics that are relating to time and space and the nature of the Garden of Eden and things like that, that are very, very old, very, very scientific, some of it, very deep. Perhaps some of those things not provable at all. But the core of this, at least the most important part of it, is the who do you say that I am? Who is Christ? And you will get a very good picture about why he not only claimed to be God incarnate, but that he is. And you will see that he is. And that is the reason why you should strap yourself onto him and hold on for dear life, because you need to. So if you're not a believer, get this and go through it. And then compare it to the other world religions by reading these sections and see why Christ stands out apart from those other people. One thing is that he lived and died and did everything that he said he was going to do and rose from the dead, where the other prophets or supposed prophets didn't. And you'll learn that in this book. And this is a good segue also into the C.S. Lewis book, because my online friend on YouTube that recommended that book, it was kind of funny because he believes like I do. And he said, go read Mere Christianity. And I said, I think I'm going to read the book of Christian Apologetics first. And it turned out by reading the intro and some background, that Mere Christianity is another apologetics book. And C.S. Lewis is one of the premier people that is an apologist for Christianity. And he went through some really bad stuff. He was in World War I and, of course, saw all the frontline death and horror that is involved in that. And then in World War II, he was overseeing a bunch of bombardiers that were going to fly off and do missions. And he knew that within 3 years that they'd all be missing and dead, all of them. And that's a horrifying prospect for a person trying to tell young people to go off and do something in defense of your country that's going to lead to your ultimate demise. But he'd been through it in World War II, and the country put him on the radio to speak about. That's why, besides the fact that some things are more important than your own life and death, but you have to have a tight bond with your creator, because especially those guys, they had to have it. But in addition, if you think of yourself as, well, I'm relatively young, I'm healthy and this and that, and I'm going to be here forever because that's what I've felt like my whole life. I'm kind of immortal. I feel like nothing could ever happen bad to me. That's a long way off down the road. Nobody knows when we're going to be snatched away. And you need to fully understand where you're going. Why? Why do you believe what you do? Are you sure that's the way that's going to take you to heaven and not leave you in peril? And again, I am not making any money. I'm not a sponsor of this author. And honestly, it's easier for me to have a channel where I can just sit and play music, which I did a long time because I love music a lot. But what's more important than music or family or anything else is your walk with God, because you're not going to be here forever. And we might not be here very long. Any of us, we don't know. We're all on borrowed time. And if that makes you feel uncomfortable, go get this and get the Bible and start digging in, because you need to. It's urgent. It's super urgent. And it's not good enough if you're a Christian to just say, I'm saying I'm a Christian, so I'm okay, I have fire insurance. It's not good enough for you to sit on Sunday and then go back to work and never tell anybody what you believe. And it's not good enough to know what you believe fully because you are a Bible scholar, but you never tell anybody. It's not good enough. Use your opportunities because your time is fleeting and is very important to God that you help other people. It's very easy to fall into the trap that people are a bunch of jerks and they all irritate each other and they don't like each other. I can tell you, as I dig more deep into Christian books and read them more often, I now have a better understanding. I'm getting older. I'm 54 this year. I love humanity, and I never did before. And I want all of you that watch my channel to go to heaven. All. And I'm telling you that I'm a deep reader, and I've looked up a lot of stuff. Follow what I'm telling you. I'm not a cult leader. I'm not a pastor. I'm a regular guy, just like C.S. Lewis says he was. He led literally probably hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, to Christ. If I could save one person, that's good. Hopefully God will let me do more.